Hello everybody and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode of New Music Weekly, the show where I give you guys the top 5 prog news headlines for the week, introduce you guys to some cool new prog singles, and give you updates on what's happening here on the channel on Nathan on Shuffle. It's February 14th, 2025, Valentine's Day in fact, and not a ton of news, but I thought some pretty cool singles that I could bring to your attention. I have to record this kind of quickly early in the morning before I get to my festivities with my wife later today, but just wanted to make sure to check in and talk to you guys and have a really cool little show here. So first of all, for new releases this weekend, the only notable one from my perspective is Pattern Seeking Animals, Friend of All Creatures, which I did a review of this week, so please check out my review. Wonderful band, one of the best modern prog bands, definitely following the footsteps of Spockbeard, which several of the members are in this band, but they forged their own path. It's creative, it's cool, just excellent songwriting from John Baghold. And in fact, if you're interested in learning a bit more, I'm going to be on Prog Corner's live stream this Sunday, so you might want to check that out, where John Baghold is going to be featured, and we're going to be talking about Pattern Seeking Animals' latest release, amongst other topics. So I just wanted to put the plug in for that. If you're interested, please go watch that on the Prog Corner YouTube channel on Sunday. I believe it's 11 a.m. Eastern, if you're interested in tuning in. As for the prog news proper, first, IQ share a video for their new single No Dominion from their upcoming studio album. I talked about how their new album is coming out shortly on March 28th in a past New Music Weekly episode, but now they've released a single, so you get a really good taste of what to expect on the album. Pre-orders for the album are going to begin on February 17th, so that's coming up in a few days, in fact. And the song sounds fantastic. You know, it has Peter Nichols' kind of classic IQ voice. It has their definitely moody neo-prog, darker kind of sound, but really beautiful soundscapes, a great soaring guitar solo at the end. It's just a fantastic track that's really spelling good things to come from the group in their upcoming album. So I know many people are excited about that. 5 tracks on the album. They tried to pare it down to more of a single disc, where some of their recent efforts have been big double disc affairs, but they decided to save some of their extra material for a future album at this point and instead make a more streamlined, kind of shorter album for this one. So it's going to be available in a 6-panel digi-sleeve CD with a 16-page booklet and a 1-disc colored vinyl album and a gatefold sleeve. So check out the pre-orders this week. I'm sure it's well worth your money if you're into the band and into this style of neo-prog. It's really fantastic, at least the taste that they've given us. Second item on my list, Tiktaalika's Tiktaalika is the group's name. This is Haken band member Charlie Griffiths' project. Launches their new single, Lost Continent, featuring Tommy Rogers of Between the Buried and Me. This is Charlie Griffiths' way to kind of get out his more aggressive kind of thrash metal side of his sound, breaking out of Haken, which is more of a traditional prog metal sound. And, you know, it's maybe on the edges of what I can handle heavy-wise. I'm not really a huge classic metal fan. Don't really like the harsher vocals that Tommy Rogers brings to the table, but I really loved the previous Tiktaalika album. I thought it blended things pretty nicely and added a cool prog touch to this kind of heavier thrash metal affair. So definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of Haken, if you're a fan of Charlie Griffiths, and especially if you're a fan of classic thrash metal. The album cover itself is just total classic 80s thrash metal. So that's what you can expect here. Lost Continent is the single that's being featured. I believe it's the longest track on the album. And the album has these kind of prehistoric, type themes, and so this really plays into that. And it's just a fun exploration, and if you really like this kind of heavier, thrashy sound, this is definitely going to be one to pick up. The album itself is coming out March 14th, so only about a month away before that release. So definitely check that out. If it's anything like the first album, I think it's well worth people checking out with some cool guest stars. He's joined by drummer Darby Todd on the record. Connor Green is playing bass, which is his Haken bandmate, and we've got a collection of some cool vocalists with Tommy Rogers on this track in particular. Roddy Walker from Protest the Hero is on here, Vladimir Lalik, and Daniel DeJong as well, who was on his previous Tiktaalika record. So definitely wanted to put that out there. You can pre-order it now in a variety of formats, as is typical. Next item, number 3, Dim Gray share a single for their track Myopia, which is coming up on their upcoming record Shards, which is coming out February 28th. Only a couple weeks away for that one. Definitely one I'm going to feature on the channel, right up my alley. Dim Gray is a Norwegian band, which has kind of a cinematic, more atmospheric sound, bit more of a folkier touch, chamber pop, rock. It's not really totally full-blown progressive rock, but it's just really beautifully composed music, and it does contain a final longer epic track that kind of does dabble a bit more into the prog sound, but it's a fantastic group. Oscar Holdorf is a member of the group here, and who's also playing with Big Big Train, so there's some crossover in the prog world from that perspective as well. Love their previous album, and they've put out several singles from this upcoming release, this being one of them, featuring, I believe, some female vocals as well on this track. So definitely well worth checking out. It's kind of in my wheelhouse a little bit. I like this kind of poppier prog sound. Think about Mir and my excessive praise of their album from last year. This is kind of along those kinds of lines, but maybe a bit folkier, a bit more kind of a mystical, atmospheric kind of flavor. And that's what you can expect here on this record. So definitely gets my stamp of approval, and I'll be talking about it in more depth in a review in probably a week or two. So excited for that one. Item number 4, Asia is going to perform their first 3 albums over 3 nights at Trading Boundaries in April. I thought this was interesting. I'm really curious about this Asia lineup that's out. Just a fantastic lineup of musicians. Asia's never been a band that I've been like hugely into because I felt like it leaned too far into kind of the pop direction in the 80s. But when you have Jeff Downs, John Mitchell, Virgil Donati, and Harry Whitley, who's a fantastic singer, coming together to perform this project, it makes my ears kind of perk up and curious to hear this lineup and their performances. So these shows will be April 10th, 11th, and 12th, concentrating on Asia, Alpha, and Astra, and should be a good series of concerts to celebrate. It looks like Astra is celebrating its 40th anniversary this year, so really cool and exciting for their catalog. And it sounds like they're working on a new record as well, which I'm even more curious about what this newer iteration of the band would sound like on a new record, but that could be a little ways down the pike. But just really cool and interesting, kind of up out of the ashes of this John Wetton tribute that happened, bringing out some Asia music to celebrate that, and it's formed into a cool iteration of the band, so I'm excited to see where they go with it. And then item number 5, a 6-disc edition of Tangerine Dream's Phaedra is to be released to celebrate the album's 50th anniversary. These are the German electronic pioneers Tangerine Dream, big 50th anniversary box set of this seminal album being released through Universal Music on April 18th. The 6-disc set features a live recording of the band's first ever UK show at Victoria Palace Theatre in June 1974, as well as a remastered version of the original album, outtakes from the original recording, a Blu-ray of Steven Wilson's 5.1 surround sound mix, illustrated book, new essay by Tangerine Dream Authority Wouter Bessels. So thought it'd be cool to bring that to people's attention if you're a fan of that album, fan of Tangerine Dream. I thought it was applicable to prog at large. Not really a band I'm super familiar with, I'll be honest, but definitely have heard of them and know their impact in the music world at large. So I wanted to mention it. Anytime I see Steven Wilson has done like a surround sound mix or something like that, I'm always interested. I feel like his mixes are really great. All right, so those are the headlines. Now talking about some of the prog singles on my prog singles list, getting into a couple other items here. Just so you know, you can go to the description and I have links to all the YouTube videos for these singles, and I'm compiling a massive playlist that brings all these singles together from across all the weeks of this show throughout the year. So please check out that playlist if you're looking for some cool new prog to kind of listen to and test out. That's kind of the purpose of it and why I'm putting that together for you guys. Bjorn Reese has a new single called Gone. Bjorn Reese is a great prolific artist from Norway. He's been with Airbag, of course, one of the founding members of that band, but has a very prolific solo career at this point. This new album is going to be called Fubel Winter, coming out on April 11th. Sorry for butchering the name, but this track Gone is just a beautiful expression, wonderful guitar playing, wonderful vocals, just a really great singer-songwriter exploration from him. So look forward to the album. It looks like it should be a good one to check out when it comes out, like I said, in April 11th. So that should be something worth checking out. Solstice have a new track called Firefly. This is from their upcoming 8th studio album Clan, which is coming out April 4th this year through progrock.com Essentials. I really loved their previous album Light Up, which came out in 2022, and this kind of follows in that vein, just really bright, sunny, symphonic prog with female vocals. Really love it. They've been getting some acclaim from Prog Magazine, winning some awards for their efforts of recent note. And it's just a notable band that's worth hearing, so I wanted to put that on the list for sure. Earthside has a track called Frozen Heart Burning World. This is a more cinematic progressive metal outfit. Their previous album, Let the Truth Speak, I thought was very excellent, having a variety of different vocalists and this kind of atmospheric cinematic sound, but doesn't sacrifice some of the heaviness and epicness of progressive metal. This, I believe, is kind of a bonus track from that record, so it's not really a new track for a new album or anything. It's just kind of a outtake from the writing sessions of Let the Truth Speak, but super great quality. It's a wonderful instrumental track that just really takes you on a journey and is a great soundscape. Definitely worth listening to. I thought that was great. And then Big Big Train have a live version of The Last English King that came out that I thought would be cool to bring attention towards. This is one of the only tracks, I believe, that they performed from the album Bard in their live set of recent years, at least. And this is kind of in anticipation of them reissuing their studio album Bard on March 21st. It was originally released in 2002 and hasn't really been available for those massive collectors who they're completionists who want the whole Big Train discography. This has been kind of missing and hard to acquire. And so now it's getting completely remixed by Rob Aubrey and reissued here this year. And like I said, that comes out March 21st if you're interested in hearing Bard, kind of going back into the history of the band pre-David Lungden era. So that should be cool. And this track in particular, The Last English King, is beautiful. Hearing it with kind of the new formation of the band is really interesting. So I wanted to put that in my singles list. So yeah, that pretty much does it for the show today. As for my channel and what's been going on here, I did 2 notable reviews this week. Pattern Seeking Animals, Friend of All Creatures, as I mentioned, a wonderful album that came out today and I think is well worth any melodic prog fans' ears. The other album is Jacob Roberge and his album The Passing, a wonderful new artist who I've just fallen in love with. This is an easy contender for my favorite album so far of the year. Very much in the vein of Neil Morse, but a lot of other disparate influences. And it's fantastic. Well worth checking out. Check out my review. Go check out the album. It's definitely one I've been pushing hard and wanting people to hear because, artists like this deserve to be heard. And I could see him becoming a new shining star in the genre. So wanted to keep mentioning that. I did a show with Jana last Sunday. Maybe it slipped under your radar, but it was what we're calling the Sunday Shuffle. It wasn't a song reaction like we tend to do. We did something a little bit different, and she asked me 10 questions about my vinyl collection. So it was just basically a chance for me to talk a little bit about my vinyl collection, pull out a few records, and it was a nice time to talk with my wife. So if you're interested in that, check it out as well. As for this upcoming week, it's going to be a little bit of a quieter week. I'm kind of just enjoying the weekend. Me and Jana have the the weekend off together, and we're gonna be spending some time together. So you won't have much on the channel this week, kind of a little bit of a lighter week, but there will be a Sunday shuffle this Sunday. Me and Jan are reacting to a song, and as I mentioned, I'm going to be on the Prog Corner on their live stream, so that should be fun if you want to check that out there. And we'll see, maybe something will pop up, but I'm expecting probably no videos this week, and then hitting it hard the following week with a couple newer reviews. So that's the plan. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your weekend, and hopefully you'll stick around on the channel and catch me next week in the next update of New Music Weekly. So thank you guys, and I'll see you later. Bye everybody, enjoy the music.